Today we're going to discuss how to level and adjust your off contact with your silver press. We're specifically going to be using our 2-station silver press. First of all, let's show you where the off contact is on the press. Now if you keep in mind on this press, the off contact is actually located in the back of the print head here. So this particular press has the micro attachment on it, but right here in the back is where we raise and lower the off contact. It's right here. The off contact is not adjusted right here. If you adjust this, this is going to adjust how long and how short your press arm comes down. So you do not want to adjust this. This is set up at the factory. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our screen into the print position. Once our screen's in the print position, there are your off contact adjustments, once again, which are right here. There are also your tilt adjustment. Your tilt adjustment tilts the screen like this. Your off contact adjustment raises and lowers the screen like this. We're going to use 1/2-inch wrenches to make all of our adjustments. I prefer ratcheting wrenches. So we're going to loosen our off contact adjustment all the way. And then we're going to loosen the bottom of our tilt adjustment. Not the top, just the bottom. So that way our tilt has some room to move too. So we're going to make those 2 adjustments. Then we're going to let the screen rest. Now if you notice right here, we have an off contact tab. This gives us a spacer between our palette and our screen. So also, this moves depending on how much weight there's out here on the print head. When you bring your screen down for the first time, if you notice right here, my arm's not settling all the way into the gate. We need to make sure that we press the arm down all the way so it settles all the way into the gate. If it's not settling all the way into the gate, our off contacts, our screen's actually going to be holding our screen up out of the gate, which is not going to be good because we're going to always struggle with off contact. Next, we're going to press that all the way down. Then we're going to press the screen flat in every angle. So we're going to make sure everything's flattened out. The goal of off contact is to give your ink about a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch space to pass between your screen mesh and your substrate. So that's why we want that spacer plate in between. The goal of tilt is obviously you want a flat surface to print on. So once again, our contact and tilt is adjusted, and we're going to tighten everything down now. 1/2-inch ratcheting wrenches work amazingly for this. So once everything's tight, we can now bring this up, take our spacer plate off, and then come down, check out to see where we're at. So right now, we got good space between the front and the back of the screen. I always like to take this one extra step, and that's using an off contact tab. The off contact tab is a great way to ensure that this screen does not bend down in the front here. So we actually use a washer for this. You can also use a quarter or any type of hard substrate. Some people use cardboard. I personally do not like using cardboard, but I place that on the frame. And it's very important that if all possible, you actually place it on the frame and not on the mesh, because the mesh gives the frames rigid and does not. So this comes down and touches the neck part of the palette. And we'll check that once again. And that really ensures we have a very nice, smooth off contact. Once again, we're checking to make sure this is all the way pressed down, which it is. And we have perfect off contact. This is about 1/8 of an inch, which for this particular screen is great. So that's how you set the off contact adjustment on the Ryonet silver press and the 2-station press. Now, the way this press is set up is the stations should match up perfectly. As long as you don't touch this, then you're good to go. If you start to touch this, then you'll need to re-level that out. How you do that is you can lower this, set your spacer. So go ahead and set your press up on 1 station. Go ahead and set your spacer plate. So you put your off contact tab up here, make sure it's all leveled out. Now you lower, so this is set, it's perfect. Let's say this is too high on the station, on this station over here. Let's say this is set too high. We're not actually going to do it. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to lower this. So lower it down. Then we're going to want to bring it over. So let's pretend this was actually set too high. The first thing we'll do is lower it. Okay? So we'll loosen up the bolt down there and lower it. Well, now since this was already set on the station that was correct, we can bring this down and look. This off contact is perfect still on the screen. But if we notice under here, this isn't touching. So we can reach under here and simply move it up so it's touching the arm. So once again, we have a loose bolt under here, and then we kind of twist it with our fingers. You can manually twist it under there until it comes up and slightly touches the arm. And that's going to let us know that our screen will rest the same spot on this head as it will on, on this station as it will on the separate station. So that's kind of how you readjust things if it's out of kilter. But typically, if it's set up the correct way at the manufacturing facility, which most of these that come are, you don't ever have to do this. So once that's now coming up and touching right now. So I'm going to lift this up one more time. See how much we raise that down there. I'll lower that. I'll lock it into place so it doesn't move ever again. And you can even come over here and write "do not touch," because you do not want your employees or your partners touching this, because that will throw your press out of registration. Now I'll come back down here again. And what do you know? We're still good to go. So that's how you set your press up. That's how you re-level your press up. And once again, it's important for your press to have consistent off contact on both stations so that you can print consistently and your ink has a space to release onto the shirt.